just because they said so in a memo. Of course, it violates all sorts of federal and state laws, and you are now culpable, but whatever. And we know about it because the Border Patrol leaked it last week to CBS News. But I get the call. I, sure enough, search it. Austin Welcoming City Summit. And I was even told by the city person that it's $7,000 a day, $7,500 a day just to feed the illegals at the welcoming ceremony, where they teach them how to get free welfare and how to get all the, quote, social services and basically not work. And it breaks down in here. All meals will be provided. This is morning, noon, and night, except for the on-your-own lunch on February 23rd. Please note that there is a $8 parking fee at Palmer Event Center. And it says how to accept illegals. It actually says how to get them on welfare, how to condition the public to accept it. It's a giant takeover plan for the North American Union. That's coming up. And then the intensifying war in Ukraine. And then Turkey invades Syria. And then
the government's Department of Homeland Security is buying up loads of ammo. At the same time, they're restricting civilians' rights to own and purchase firearms. Can you put two and two together? Infidel Body Armor can stop every round, including hollow points and .308 sniper rounds, is reasonably priced and fully legal. But for how long? Go to InfidelBodyArmor.com, spelled INFIDEL bodyarmor.com. Infidel Body Armor just won't quit.
When cells become toxic, they die early and aging sets in. No one has put together a formula that focuses directly on brain health, nerve growth factors, and optimizing your cellular energy at the same time. Just one of the key compounds, BioPQQ, is backed by major clinical studies. You want the best that's out there at the lowest price anywhere? We now have the synergistic solution. Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com or call toll-free 888-253-3139. For all of recorded history, civilizations around the world praised the health benefits of silver. At InfoWars Life, our mission is to bring you the highest quality, purest, cleanest, effective colloidal silver on the market today for the lowest price available. You don't have to be a doctor to know. The fall and winter months are the most dangerous time of year in North America when it comes to you and your family's health. InfoWarsLife.com is very excited to announce our biggest run yet of Silver Bullet colloidal silver, exclusively available at InfoWarsLife.com. Now, InfoWarsLife.com has taken colloidal silver to the next level using a cutting-edge technique that is free of toxic artificial additives. Now more than ever, it's important to stock up on high-quality Silver Bullet from InfoWarsLife.com. No survival chest is complete without Silver Bullet. Secure your Silver Bullet today at InfoWarsLife.com or by calling toll-free 888-253-3139. Silver Bullet.
You can now listen to The Alex Jones Show live on the free TuneIn Radio app, featuring over 100,000 real radio stations, over 4 million podcasts streaming live from every continent, offering unprecedented access to listen to anything, anywhere. TuneIn lets you listen to over 100,000 real radio stations and more than 4 million podcasts from every continent, 200,000 mobile downloads per day. Available on iPhone, iPad, Android tablets, Windows 8, BlackBerry, Amazon Kindle. Available in over 200 branded products with millions of devices sold worldwide, including Samsung Smart TV, Roku, Sonos, Sony PlayStation, Amazon Echo, Panasonic Viera TV, Logitech Squeezebox. TuneIn brings streaming radio to cars, including GM, Ford, BMW, Tesla, Mercedes-Benz, Volvo, Nissan, Fiat, and more.
What disaster is so powerful, it unleashes a chain of mass pandemics, economic meltdowns, and violent food riots, all at the same time? NASA has already set the countdown timer, and right now the 21st century apocalypse is less than 13 months away. Former CIA Director James Woolsey says 2/3 of U.S. population could perish. In a matter of seconds, the world as we know it will cease to exist. The world's economy will be wiped out. Mass riots will follow. Ancient diseases will reemerge. How will you shield yourself and your loved ones from this upcoming apocalypse? Go to darkestdays.info to find out proven methods of protecting yourself, your loved ones, and even your entire community when this worst-case scenario unravels. That's DARKESTDAYS.info. darkestdays.info. Go there before this life-saving information becomes unavailable to the large public. Go to darkestdays.info now.
You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
We now take you live.
To the Central Texas Command Center in the heart of the resistance. You're listening to The Alex Jones Show.
On 2/22, this Sunday worldwide live broadcast. All right, I mentioned the imminent, they're saying, terror attacks on Mall of America, other areas, which clearly you've heard us predict so many hundreds of times, I'm not going to even play the tape. That they would openly fund al-Qaeda and the jihadis and then let them spread, and then they would start threatening and then ultimately attacking domestic targets, soft targets, until America turns into a total police state. But now that's being announced. We're going to get into the Oscars being turned into a giant political correctness brainwashing fest. Clinton Foundation drops ban on foreign government donations. Just amazing. And I've read the different Federal Elections Commission's regulations and laws. I believe this is illegal. We'll get into the 3-parent babies could risk the future of the human race. Yeah, no kidding, says the Parliament. We're going to get into all over the country the red carpet for the illegals, the free tuition, the free welfare, the free tax return refunds when they don't even put any money in. Could have their babies for free. I'm not even against immigrants or people from Latin America, but this is the merger of our countries together. This is the conquering of our nation. I'm going to break that down. We've got Syria criticizing the fact that Turkey, with the biggest military in the Middle East, it's bigger than Israel's when it comes to conventional ground troops, tanks, planes, has invaded and taken a large part of Syria, and their response is, we were just there guarding a tomb of the founder of the Ottoman Empire. We've got this clip coming up. So when you look at the foreign press, it's an admitted invasion. When you watch CNN, it's, well, Turkey was just guarding a tomb, and then it shows a video of like 50 army tanks and helicopters, and looks like 1,000 troops just in one shot guarding a tomb. It's like, it'd be like if the Russians said, we're guarding a tomb in D.C. and all these helicopters are landing. I mean, it's just the way they spin stuff. If you only look at U.S. news versus foreign news, and I'm not saying it's perfect either, but, I mean, Syria's like, you just invaded us. This is really illegal, and they're aiding al-Qaeda, and they're aiding ISIS. That's who's aiding them openly. And our media's answer is they're just guarding a tomb. And it shows an army. Shows a ridge just covered with tanks and artillery and helicopters and troops. I guess when they take Damascus, they'll just be guarding a tomb. It's just always this spin. But before we go any further, I'm going to go through all these articles one by one. Giuliani is not backing down, and I'm not lionizing him. It's just that what he's saying is true. We sell the film. In fact, we helped popularize it. It was in association with WorldNet Daily as well. Joel Gilbert made the film Dreams of My Real Father, and it's admitted that Obama spent most summers as a child for at least 7 years with Frank Marshall Davis, a famous communist and a famous pornographer. It's just bizarre. And there's photos in the film directly from Obama's archives of him sitting on the couch in the room, in the living room with Frank Marshall Davis, who he admits in his own book, Dreams of My Father, that he spent summers with and his grandfather was basically best friends with. Well, in Dreams of My Real Father, it shows what is his mother naked in porn shoots in that living room on that couch. I mean, Frank Marshall Davis is his dad, folks. The whole Kenya thing was a diversion. People got suckered by it. That's why his Harvard Law Review said he was from Kenya. We've got clips of Michelle saying he was born in Kenya. That was all a cover story, folks. You look at Frank Marshall Davis, it's Obama. And he shacked up with Obama's mom. I mean, he is Frank Marshall Davis' son. I want to get Gilbert back on. But Giuliani's now quoting the film, basically, but not giving it credit, which is fine. The point is we sell the DVD at InfoWars store.com. You can purchase it and support us, the filmmaker, but it will blow you away. By the way, when I first heard this a few years ago, I didn't believe it. When I saw it, I was like, oh, my God, now it all makes sense. That's why the White House put out the birth certificate in 4 different layers, and it was fake, and they used typeset that was the WordPress, Microsoft Word, fake typewriter, because every letter has a little blurb or blob, supposedly from the ink, but like a snowflake with a real typewriter, each one is different. Well, that right there was fake because all the words were identical. You could compare a C to a C or a D to a D or a Z to a Z and have the same fake blobs. Day one, we saw it and said fake because of that. A year later, top forensic folks in Arpaio's office said the same thing. But it was all meant to be fake to get us on that trail, believing he was covering up Kenyan roots. When you look at the Kenyan dad, that's not him. Doesn't look anything like him. You look at Frank Marshall Davis, folks, it's him. But let's go to Giuliani not backing down and bringing up Frank Marshall Davis, Obama's father. Here it is.
Mr. Mayor, do you want to apologize for your comment?
Not at all. I want to repeat it. The reality is, from all that I can see of this president, all that I've heard of him, he apologizes for America. He criticizes America. He talks about the Crusades and how the Christians were barbarians. Leaves out the second half of the sentence, that the Muslims were barbarians also. He sees Christians slaughtered and doesn't stand up and hold a press conference, although he holds a press conference for the situation in Ferguson. He sees Jews being killed for anti-Semitic reasons, doesn't stand up and hold a press conference. This is an American president I've never seen before.
But to say that he doesn't love America, I mean, that he could view foreign policy as a Democrat might view it, and through a different lens than the Republican.
Full clip is on Infowars.com. And this is all PNAC planned to have a clash of civilizations. Let's get something clear. I don't hate Muslims. Everybody knows that, and I was against all these wars. But I've studied history, and the Muslims invaded Europe. They went all the way to Germany, all the way to Poland. There are huge statues in all those countries of the different kings that stopped them. Count Dracula in Romania, Transylvania, was a real guy and stopped them right there. And they were killing basically everybody and then grabbing the women and hauling them off. They took over Spain for about 300 years. And it was El Cid that took it back. So, I mean, I remember going to college. That's why I got out of college. I was already successful in radio. As soon as I got a radio job, I was like, when I'm done. I was already making more money than most people with, quote, degrees in RTF. And it wasn't that much money, but I said I could pay my bills. I'm done. Bye-bye college. Because I'd go in there and hear about the Crusades and how we were barbaric. And I was like, hey, I read all the history books because they were so interesting. I wasn't anti-Muslim. I wanted to read about history because, let me tell you, it's a page-turner. Battles every page, not like some fake novel. And, yeah, you had Vlad the Impaler, Count Dracula, If people wouldn't be his conscripts and fight the Muslims, he'd stick them on the end of a pole. He was a barbarian. But here's the deal. The Muslims started it and invaded. Let's just get that straight. What do you think Spain's La Reconquista, where the rest of Europe came in and kicked the radical Islamicists out? By the way, there were radical and non-radical Islamicists. There were lots of Islamic sects that didn't want to take over, wanted to be left alone. They were getting enslaved as well. There's always radical groups that want to use religion as a pretext to take over. But here's the deal. Radical Islam is becoming the dominant strain in Islam right now. So whether it's a religion of peace or war, jihad or whatever, it is now run by Saudi Arabia, who wants to conquer the world, and they're allied with the globalist, and our own government is opening the door to bring this in. And when the terror attacks hit, they're going to take our basic freedoms, the name of fighting it, as the terror summit said last week with the White House, and their main focus will be gun owners, veterans, and Christians, not the radical jihadis. Stay with us. Used since before the days of the Roman Empire to support the body's natural systems and enhance overall health. Introducing the new InfoWarsLife.com oil of oregano formulation, a highly advanced nutraceutical form of this key herb that has been traditionally used by civilizations for thousands of years to promote health. We have now procured the most high quality and potent forms of oregano oil on the market, sourced from top leading manufacturers to ensure a concentrated level of bioactive ingredients. Extracted directly from the wild herb and sealed in easy-to-use capsules, you will no longer need to endure the burning of liquid oregano on the tongue. wild-crafted from the Mediterranean oregano species that experts agree is one of the most powerful and most challenging to acquire. This winter season, it's more important than ever to secure this true form of